Epic Games, the creator of Fortnite, is a major player in the video game industry. Known for its innovative approach, Epic has become a global phenomenon. Fortnite boasts millions of players worldwide. Apple, the tech giant behind the iPhone, iPad and Mac, needs no introduction. Its products are ubiquitous and its brand is synonymous with innovation. Apple's App Store is the gateway to millions of apps for iOS devices. The App Store serves as the sole distribution channel for apps on iOS devices. This gives Apple immense control over which apps are available and the terms under which developers can operate. Developers must adhere to Apple's guidelines and pay a commission on in-app purchases. This control has been a source of contention between Apple and some developers. The Epic Games versus Apple case brought this debate to the forefront. The control Apple wields over its App Store has raised questions about fair competition and monopolistic practices. Apple's App Store operates as a walled garden, meaning it is a closed platform controlled entirely by Apple. This closed ecosystem is praised for its security and user-friendly interface. Apple maintains high quality and security for its users. Developers must distribute their apps through the App Store. They must comply with Apple's guidelines, including in-app purchases. Apple takes a 30% commission on most in-app purchases. The walled garden approach has its benefits. Users enjoy a streamlined, malware-free experience. Critics argue it stifles competition and innovation. In August 2020, Epic Games deliberately violated Apple's App Store guidelines by implementing a direct payment system within Fortnite. This allowed players to bypass Apple's in-app purchase system and purchase in-game currency directly from Epic, circumventing Apple's 30% commission. This move was a calculated challenge to Apple's authority. Epic Games knew that this action would provoke a response from Apple, and they were prepared for the consequences. They had already filed a lawsuit against Apple, accusing the company of anti-competitive practices. Apple swiftly retaliated by removing Fortnite from the App Store. This meant that iOS users could no longer download or update the game. Epic's move was a bold gambit, a calculated risk designed to challenge Apple's dominance. The removal of Fortnite from the App Store was a significant blow to Epic, but it also served as a catalyst for a broader discussion about the power of tech giants. Epic Games argued that Apple holds a monopoly on the distribution of iOS apps, stifling competition and harming consumers. They pointed to the 30% commission and the lack of alternative app stores as evidence of anti-competitive behavior. Apple countered that the App Store's closed ecosystem is essential for maintaining security and protecting users from malware. They argued that the 30% commission is a fair price for the services they provide, including app review, distribution, and payment processing. Apple emphasized the benefits of its curated App Store for user experience. Epic maintained that Apple's security argument was a pretext for maintaining its monopoly. They argued that other platforms, such as Android, offer open app stores without compromising security. The legal battle centered on whether Apple's control over the App Store constituted a monopoly. Both sides presented compelling arguments, and the outcome of the case had significant implications for the future of the tech industry. The trial, expert opinions and key testimonies. The trial featured testimonies from executives from both companies, including Tim Cook, CEO of Apple, and Tim Sweeney, CEO of Epic Games.
Apple's App Store policies are essential for maintaining security and user privacy.
Apple's practices are anti-competitive and harm developers.
Economic experts presented conflicting opinions on whether Apple's App Store constituted a monopoly.
Experts for Epic argued that Apple's control over iOS app distribution gave them significant market power. Experts for Apple countered that the relevant market was broader, including other gaming platforms and app stores. The trial also delved into the technical details of app development and distribution. Experts discussed the complexities of app review processes, security measures, and payment systems. The testimonies and expert opinions shed light on the complex issues at stake, highlighting the challenges of balancing innovation, competition, and consumer protection in the digital age.
The verdict, a mixed bag for both sides. In a complex ruling, Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers sided with Apple on the key issue of monopoly. The court found that Apple was not a monopolist in the relevant market, which the judge defined more broadly than Epic had argued. This was a significant victory for Apple. However, the court also ruled against Apple on its anti-steering provisions. These provisions prevented developers from directing users to alternative payment methods outside the App Store. The court found that these provisions violated California's anti-steering laws. While Apple avoided the monopoly label, it was ordered to allow developers to link to external payment methods. This decision could potentially impact Apple's App Store revenue and open the door for alternative payment systems. Both companies indicated their intention to appeal certain aspects of the decision.
Impact on App Store policies. The ruling has had significant implications for App Store policies across the tech industry. Other App Store operators, such as Google, are facing increased scrutiny over their own policies. The ruling has emboldened developers to challenge existing App Store practices. Several App Stores have started to lower their commission rates or offer alternative payment options in response to the ruling. This increased competition could benefit developers and consumers alike. The pressure to change App Store policies is mounting. The ruling has also spurred regulatory action. Lawmakers in various countries are considering legislation to regulate app stores and address concerns about anti-competitive practices. The Epic versus Apple case has served as a catalyst for regulatory reform. The long-term impact of the ruling is still unfolding.
Regulatory scrutiny, governments take notice. The Epic Games versus Apple case has attracted the attention of regulators worldwide. Governments are increasingly concerned about the power of large tech companies and their potential impact on competition. The case has provided a focal point for these concerns. The European Union, South Korea, and Japan have already implemented or are considering legislation to regulate app stores. These regulations aim to promote competition and prevent anti-competitive practices. The US is also exploring potential regulatory actions. The increased regulatory scrutiny could lead to significant changes in the way app stores operate. Governments are exploring options such as mandatory interoperability, sideloading of apps, and restrictions on app store fees. These changes could reshape the digital landscape. The Epic versus Apple case has served as a wake-up call for regulators, prompting them to take a closer look at the App Store ecosystem and its impact on competition and innovation.
The future of digital marketplaces, open versus closed, the Epic Games versus. Apple case has raised fundamental questions about the future of digital marketplaces. The debate centers on the trade-offs between open and closed ecosystems. Each model has its advantages and disadvantages. Closed ecosystems, like Apple's App Store, offer a curated experience with a focus on security and user-friendliness. However, they can also limit competition and stifle innovation. Open ecosystems, like Android's Google Play Store, offer greater freedom and flexibility for developers, but can be more fragmented and less secure. The future of digital marketplaces may involve a hybrid approach, combining elements of both open and closed ecosystems. This could involve greater interoperability between platforms, allowing users to access apps from multiple sources. It could also involve more flexible payment options and reduced App Store fees. The evolution of digital marketplaces will likely be shaped by a combination of market forces, regulatory actions, and technological innovations. Conclusion: a landmark case for the digital age. The Epic Games versus. Apple case is a landmark case with lasting implications for the digital age. It has brought App Store policies into the public spotlight and spurred a global debate about tech giants' power. The case highlights the tension between innovation, competition, and consumer protection. It underscores the need for clear regulatory frameworks for digital marketplaces. The outcome will shape the future of app stores and the digital landscape. The case sets a precedent for challenging practices and advocating for fairness and transparency. The Epic Games versus Apple saga is far from over. The appeals process is ongoing and the regulatory landscape is evolving. The case has already had a profound impact and will shape the digital world for years to come.